by Rainbows. Today we have Danger Dark World finally at long last because tier is 6 feet under, which means more decks are playable now. About time! Although this deck was a rogue strategy at best before, this deck has a lot of meta potential now, along with the support it recently got in one of the best structure decks that we've gotten in a long time. However, with that being said, this deck is extremely pilot dependent, and so if you're worried about how the combo lines look, because there are a lot and they're pretty complex, we're going to do a full tutorial at the end for you.
This deck is full of a bunch of old and new cards that are not once per turn, so make sure you're paying attention.
With all that being said, team, make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell, like the video, and comment some profiles you'd like to see us update for the new format, because finally, there are choices! So with all that being said, team, let's hop into the Dangerous Dark World.
Starting off every profile with our boss monsters, we have 3 of the brand new Rainbow out of the structure deck. Triple copies of Grapha and our 1 copy of Silva.
I know Rainbow looks kind of like garbage here because it's shout out to structure deck rarity printings, but he's there. He's new, he's big, he's mean, and he's a killing machine.
So this is our big Dark World lineup. It's very good to note that majority of all the Dark World cards have 2 effects. One of which will trigger when they are discarded for card effect, and the other is an additional effect that will also trigger if discarded via your opponent's card effects. So to power through these effects, when Rainbow is discarded, you can search a level 5 or higher Dark World monster from your deck to your hand that's not itself, so one of these 2. And then when it's discarded to the graveyard by your opponent's card effect, you get to special summon a level 4 or lower Dark World monster directly from your deck. Grapha, I feel like everyone knows what this does. When it's discarded, it pops a card on your opponent's field, not once per turn. And if it's discarded via your opponent's card effect, you can look at 1 random card in your opponent's hand, and if it was a monster, special summon that monster to your side of the field. And then Silva, if it's discarded by a card effect, you can special summon it, and then if it's discarded by your opponent's card effect, you get to hand loop them for 2.
So for this profile, we opted not to show the hand rip version, which is the version that most people end up choosing to play. The version we're playing kind of focuses more on a very big, powerful end board that locks your opponent out of a lot more things. Not as much as Cash Tier, we're not blocking out zones, but we are blocking out other things if you stick around and watch. I also think it's important to show that this deck can do more than just hand rip. I think people focus on that a little too much. This deck can do a lot of really crazy cool stuff, so we're going to show you how that all works.
We did want to play 1 copy of Silva because you don't want to just be able to search the Grapha. This does give you multiple targets to search, and it's a free extender.
I just think it's really funny how out of the structure deck they made a new boss monster and they named this big Dark World scary dude Rainbow. Tough guys can be cute too.
And speaking of being tough, this is a very tough deck to beat because both of these monsters have the inherent special summon from the graveyard to return a Dark World monster back to your hand and special summon themselves. It's good to note that Grapha can return anything, but Rainbow can return anything that is level 7 or lower.
And speaking of cute, how are you doing today? You look great. Moving on.
And then some of the key cards, we are on the 1 copy of our Ceruli or Ceruli or however you pronounce this
blue.
guy.
It's like Ceruli, like blue.
And then we're playing triple copies of Genta. He's not really a color, he's just Genta.
He's Genta.
Like Magenta. Oh my god, maybe he is a color.
You didn't know that they're based off colors? Are you serious? That's why the goddamn guy is named Rainbow. Are you dense? They're weather painters, but metal. Oh my god, he didn't know, comment section. He didn't know there were actual colors.
I had no clue. So I really wanted to talk about both of these cards real fast. Ceruli is the only card in this deck that you can give to your opponent, which will then on summon trigger all of your cards. So Ceruli when summoned makes your opponent, which because your opponent controls it would be you will be discarding cards, and this is how you are able to trigger all the secondary effects of your Dark World monsters.
Super simple.
Genta has the effect where you can discard it to search gates of the Dark World, and then it has the secondary effect where if it is banished and you control a Dark World card, you can special summon itself from the banish pile. As we said in the beginning, the majority of the Dark World cards are not once per turn. However, Genta might be the only one that when banished, only the special summon is once per turn.
Ah, a little balance here on the teetering scales. Look, it's adorable. We've got Blue's Clues. We've got Blue Magenta. Ba-bow!
And then for the remainder of our Dark World lineup, we are on triple copies of Snow. That's not a color.
Like white, you ding dong.
And 3 copies of Beige. That is a color.
That is actually a color.
Now, Beige does not have 2 effects, but Beige does say if it is discarded to the graveyard by a card effect, you can special summon it. And then Snow, if it is discarded to the graveyard, once again by card effect, you can search any Dark World card from your deck to your hand. And then the second effect, honestly, like literally never comes up. And I'm not going to read this card because we've done it multiple times, but literally go read this card and tell me that this might be the biggest puzzle on Konami's like ever designed table of forever whenever.
PSCT card.
This was before PSCT. This card is ridiculous.
What is it? It's like...
Alright, I guess we're just going to read it together, team.
Wait, if this card is discarded to the graveyard by a card effect if it was discarded from your hand to your graveyard by an opponent's card effect. Did they screw up the writing of this card?
Yeah, right? It doesn't make any sense.
I think they actually, like, comment section, science side of Tumblr, please explain snow.
For our extenders, we are on the 1 copy of Blackwing Zephyros.
Ooh, pay forts. Ah!
And then double copies of our Salamander.
Scam, not a salamander. I don't think this guy's a salamander, even though his name is Salamander, because he's just a skull on fire, like no face.
Blackwing Zephyros is just a great card because this deck does not need a normal summon, so if you do draw into it, it's fantastic. Or if you're able to just discard it, it has a once per duel effect where when it's in the graveyard, you can return any face-up card you control to the hand, which is cost, which is fantastic. Special summon this card, and if you do, take 400 damage. So this can return dangers, this can return your Dark World cards, this can return field spells. This card just does anything and everything you need it to do.
And don't forget, it's once per duel. I can't emphasize that enough.
Salamander has the effect where you can reveal this card and 1 Fiend monster in your hand. The effect is special summon 1 of them and then discard the other. So this will trigger all of your Fiend monsters, which are, haha, your Dark Worlds. Moving on to the best part of the deck. Our favorite, 1 copy of the bunny, 1 copy of the snake, 3 copies, not 1, not 2, but 3 copies of the Chew, 3 copies of the moth,
Lamp Gang,
and 3 copies of the big snake.
Nessie, Snooze, Aqua, for some reason not a sea serpent.
I think we're playing a higher danger count than a lot of people. However, as Logan said before, we're not trying to play the hand rip version. We are trying to extend as much as possible and just set up the biggest board that we can.
Sing it with me, team. Highway to the danger zone. Da-da-da.
The 2 ones to highlight here are probably Mothman and Chupacabra. Chupacabra is a Fiend, so just keep that in mind because your entire archetype has a lot of Fiend support. And Mothman is a card that not a lot of people were playing because of Tyr, but as Logan said as well, Tyr's dead. So it doesn't matter if you're allowing your opponent to put cards in the graveyard. They're not fusion summoning anymore.
I think this is the funniest deck ever because no deck ever highlights Chupacabra and Mothman as like the MVPs. So shout out to Dark World for finally giving the 2 least liked next to Dogman Danger some love.
I don't know, I'll go Pogo's up there for me, bro. That guy's lame.
Oh, he's just a little Canadian fish. These are the Dangers. They've been around for years. We know them. We love them. They all say draw and do more shenanigans. They're perfect, and we wouldn't change a thing.
Except for Tsuchinoko and Jackalope coming to 2 or 3, but that's
yeah,
cool.
oh yeah, feel free to do that. Thanks, Konami.
And then for some more 3-ofs, we are on triple copies of the Gates of the Dark World, or the Gates of Dark World.
Baby, you got the key to get in there.
And then 3 copies of Dark World Dealings. Maybe that's how you get in. Maybe
Yo, isn't that an ulti? Isn't Dark World Dealings
It is an ulti.
Yo, someone wanna, P.O. Box is in the description. I would absolutely love a Dark World Dealings. I don't care if it's like mod play damaged. I just want to own one.
Speaking of description, if you like this mat, you can get that mat in the description box down below with a discount code. You're welcome.
Remember in the intro when we said that, you know, like none of these cards were once per turn? Well, the spells aren't either, which means you can abuse the hecky out of them.
Gates of the Dark World does have the effect where all Fiend monsters gain 300 attack and defense, and then once per turn, you can banish a Fiend monster from your graveyard. That is the cost, and then the effect is discard a Fiend monster, then draw 1 card. This will trigger all your Dark Worlds, and it will draw 1 card.
That is so crazy. What a whack field spell. So simple, but so whack.
And if you don't know what Dark World Dealings does, just read Mothman. It's the same card.
It's 1 sentence. You can read Dark World Dealings.
And then against my better judgment, we are playing double copies of Dark World Ascension, 1 copy of the Dark World Archive, and 1 copy of Card Destruction.
Yay, fun cards.
I honestly really want to play this card at 1. This card is the biggest brick in the deck. You can search this card multiple times in a turn, but you do need at least 2 copies because you honestly sometimes get stopped, you get interrupted, etc, etc. The new boss monster is fantastic, so I'd rather have 2 copies. And it does have sort of like an extension effect in the graveyard because you could discard any Dark World monster and then add this card from your graveyard back to your hand. But this is just your fusion spell. And then Dark World Archive is probably one of the best cards in the deck because it is an extender and it helps you put some damage on board. This card reads that during the main phase, you can discard 1 Dark World monster, and if you do, Dark World monsters you currently control gain attack equal to the level the discarded monster had in your hand times 100. And then the best part is that will trigger its second effect, which is if a monster whose original type was Fiend was discarded from your hand by a card effect, you can discard 1 card, then draw 2 cards. So this is going to trigger a lot of your Dark World cards, and it's going to be insane draw power. Really feels like we're beating a dead horse here, but Tyr's no longer a deck, so we can play...
Beating a dead mermaid!
Yeah, we can play Card Destruction. This is easily the best card in the deck.
I wonder if the Weather Painters and the Dark Worlds have like a weird relationship with each other. together because, like, they're colors, but one's happy and one's not. Or do you think the weather painters got corrupted and that's how they became the Dark World?
No, I think they're actually just friends with Sprite Red, Sprite Blue.
Drop your lore in the comments.
Sprite Carrot.
What's the relationship between weather painters and Dark Worlds? I want to know. Just cue the extra deck. Go. Boop.
Starting off, we have the 1 copy of IP Masquerena.
Nipples, the baby.
1 copy of Akashic Magician. This card is fantastic because not only does it help you go second to clear cards, it also allows you to like bounce some of your dangers back to your hand going
She's
first.
so cool. I used to play her in Paleo back in my day. She was so good.
1 copy of Muckraker from the Underworld. I don't know why they just didn't say Dark World Muckraker. Like, this is just Dark World support. This card says target a fiend monster in your graveyard, discard a fiend monster for effect, and then special summon the target. And then for the rest of the turn, you can only special summon fiend monsters.
Bananas.
1 copy of Nightmare Phoenix. Wow, that's crazy. That's a fiend monster, so it's like you can do that stuff.
Oh, wow.
1 copy of Nightmare Unicorn, fiend monster, so you can still play under that stuff.
Look, it's a rainbow. They're colors. All right, drop another color, Bri.
This one's blue. It's Appaloosa.
Yeah, we got the whole Roy G bib. We're working on it.
And then for some more Link 4s, we're on the 1 copy of Sorry Yugioh.
Yo, people used to want this guy banned. That's so funny.
This card's insane in the deck. We are playing the 1 copy of Nightmare Griffin. Oh, I guess he should have been with his Nightmare buddies.
Yeah, cute. Oh, let's play Goblin. I mean, oh wait, he's banned.
Nightmare Griffin is a bonkers card in this deck because not only on summon does it allow you to discard, which will not trigger your Dark Worlds because they have to be discarded for effect, not for cost, will trigger dangers. You can add back some of your spell cards and then post board if you have some trap cards that you may be trying to set from your side deck.
In case you need a little refresher, all monsters on the field that are special summoned cannot activate their effects unless they are linked.
Also a fiend. Speaking of fiends, we have another copy of a fiend right here, which is our Underworld Goddess. You can use this with IP and all that fun stuff.
Goddess jump scare.
For our Xyz, we're on the 1 copy of Baguska, the 1 copy of number 60 Dugars. This card is ridiculous. Yeah, this card is like imperm this if you play against this deck. This card's crazy. Double copies of Zeus.
Shout out to Cash.
And then we are on double copies of the brand new fusion Grapha Dragon Overlord of Dark World. They really just make these names up, team. This card says that when your opponent activates a monster effect or a normal spell or trap card, keep in mind it is normal spell or trap card, quick effect, you can activate this effect. The activated effect becomes your opponent discards 1 card. Once again, super convoluted. This basically says when your opponent activates, I'm gonna say compulse. This can chain to make compulse's effect not compulse a monster, but we will discard a card to the graveyard.
Yeah.
That is for effect. So it will, like, you know, you basically are trying to search Grapha and then send Grapha and then pop a card. That's what this does.
They really made this whole gateway to entry really understandable for the player base. Do you think his name is Grapha because he's like graphite?
Well, you need to make Grapha with it. So.
No, but I'm saying like colors.
Maybe.
Like graphite, like dark, like black gray.
I'm gonna call him Pencil of the Overlord from here on out.
Pencil Gang. Comment section, let me know if I'm right. Now that we've got all that out of the way to talk to your ref, let's show you guys the actual combo. This is a long one, so please pay attention. This is a step-by-step process. We're gonna show you the entire line, so get those listening ears on and buckle up. All right, team, welcome to the combo section of the video. If you're new here, we do this for every single deck profile. We show you a realistic 5-card test hand to show you the actual ceiling a deck can hit. With that being said, this is a lot different than other decks because it doesn't have a super linear combo. The dangers add a lot of RNG to it, so if you're interested in those kinds of decks, this is definitely the one for you, but make sure you are paying attention. So that being said, we're gonna shuffle on up, cut on up, and get into the Dark World, baby cakes.
All right, we're gonna do a few more of these bad boys. There you go.
All right, let's hop into the danger zone.
All right, show me the sauce. Oh, sorry, bottom card. All right, we're gonna draw 1 copy of Cerealia, the only copy. Genta, that's a fantastic card to open. Choop is great. Zephyros is great, and Snow is also great. All right, so we're gonna start here, obviously, with our copy of Genta. We're just gonna activate, or drop it. We're gonna activate its effect, discard to search. This is gonna grab our copy of Gates. We're just gonna then go ahead and activate the Gates. Now we can activate Gates effect, banish the Genta, and we will discard Snow, and this will allow us to draw 1 card. Now our Snow and our Genta are gonna trigger, because Genta was triggered while we control a Dark World card, we can just special summon it, and then Snow's gonna search. We're gonna grab our copy of Rainbow here because we do want to have this recursion and start the loop. So with that being said, now we're gonna go ahead and activate our Chupacabra. So we'll say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
6 will be reroll, which means I will inevitably roll a 6. All right, team, here we go. Huh. Oh, it's a 3! Bye, Zephyros.
Right. Bye, Zephyros. Zephyros is going to go to the grave. We'll special our copy of Chupacabra, and then we will draw 1 card. Fantastic. Silva. We're going to go activate our copy of Salamander here. We're going to reveal our copy of Rainbow in the hand. This is going to allow us to special summon our copy of Salamander and then discard the Rainbow, which will then trigger the Rainbow. Rainbow is going to go ahead here and search our Grapha.
Wow.
And now we can do the good old loop, which is special summon the rainbow by bouncing back the Genta to our hand. Now we can overlay 2 level 4s.
Into Dugaris. We're going to draw some cards.
We're going to activate the Dugaris here. We're going to detach 2 materials, and we are going to draw 2 and discard 1.
Ah, snooch!
I think the best bet here, because we did draw the combo here, is, you know, discard Cerilli effect. We're going to special summon it to our opponent's board, and then Cerilli will then activate to make us discard a card, because, you know, we are the opponent now of the controller of that card, because it's their card. So that's going to allow us to pitch the Silva, and then Silva's going to trigger to not only special itself, but because it was pitched off of our opponent's card, it's going to hand loop them for 2. So that's really cool. So we'll, bam, special summon our copy of Silva.
Hand looping is fun in 2023, along with blocking zones.
And now we're going to activate the Genta again because, you know, well, not once per turn. This is going to search our copy of Gates again. We can reactivate Gates. Gates is not a once per turn.
No, it ain't. We're going to keep going.
So as we're going to activate our copy of Gates, we do have a copy of Genta in the graveyard. Now, a lot of people might want to banish this again. Remember, the summon of this is once per turn. So if you banish this, you don't get any value off of it. And because Dugaris did resolve, we don't get a draw phase next turn, so we want to conserve as many resources as possible. So we're not going to banish our copy of our Genta. We are going to banish our copy of Salamander, and then we'll discard our copy here of Snow, and then that'll allow us to draw 1 card.
Woo!
And now Snow can trigger. We're going to grab another copy of Beige here, only because we really want to have that extension. We don't have a ton of cards in our hand right now, and we really want to be able to start snowballing.
Snowballing.
So now we're going to activate our copy of Tsuchinoko.
All right, let's go, my son. 5-6 reroll. Let's pray to God I don't roll those 2 freaking numbers.
Of course you would.
Of course I did. Wow, shout out to that. Let's try that again, team. All right, you're being really funny here, Snooch. It's not so funny. 4!
Awesome.
Go to Wendy's.
We're going to hit Beige, special summon our copy of Tsuchinoko, draw 1 off the Tsuchinoko.
More snow!
And then our Beige will special summon itself because we obviously discarded it via a card effect.
Fun fact, it's snowing outside right now. He just really wants to let you know the weather because he's a weather painter in disguise.
Now we're going to take our Dugaris and our copy of Rainbow. We're going to put both of these bad boys into the graveyard, and then we are going to summon our copy of Akashic Magician right here. Now, Akashic Magician is going to activate to bounce the Tsuchinoko back to our hand. Little bit of a misplay on our end, but as we said before, this is all super complicated.
Yeah, and you don't know what you're going to draw until you draw and activate it.
Yeah, we didn't manage our zones correctly, so you could have technically summoned over here for the Cerulean to your opponent's board, and then you could have gotten the Cerulean back too, but we live and we learn, so we're just not gonna have
you
that.
also just didn't know, you know? Sometimes it just works out that way. So it's okay, you learn.
Speaking of knowing, we're gonna Rainbowing, and we're gonna bounce back the Silva and special summon the Rainbow from the graveyard. We have nothing in our graveyard other than the Blackwing Zephyros that is live, but we do have a 5-card hand to continue playing.
With that being said, we're gonna activate Good Boy Tsuchinoko again, because it is not once per turn to activate the hand, only the discard effect. Of course I rolled a 6. Why? For the love of God. 3! Goodbye, Snow, for the 8th time.
There goes the Snow. Out comes the Such. Draws the card. Bam, we're going to activate Snow.
Let's go.
This is going to grab our copy of Ascension. Now we're going to link for 1, 2, 3, and 4.
And Appaloosa, because Nibiru is not real, but you gotta respect it.
Now we're gonna activate the Chupacabra.
All right, I'm just gonna put this on Appo for the sake of the video so you can see she's at 4 counters. And then for Chup, we are not going to roll a 6. 1!
Awesome. All right, we're gonna hit the Grappa, special summon the Chup, draw 1 card. Grappa's gonna activate, destroying our copy of Cerilli. Now we can activate the Gates. Gates effect. We'll banish our copy. We got, oh, there we go, bam, Dugaris. What a great guy. We'll banish Dugaris. We will pitch our copy of Beige. Draw 1 card. Beige will then trigger here to special summon itself. Now we can activate our copy of Zephyros in the graveyard. We're going to bounce back our copy of Chup so that we have additional dangers and then special to Zephyros. We will take the 400 and then that will be our damage.
Ouchie.
We're going to activate our copy of Chupacabra here.
He is relentless. 5-6 reroll. 1.
Bam! Silva's gonna go to the graveyard. Chupacabra's gonna summon. We'll go over here. And then our Chupa's gonna draw us 1. And then Silva will summon itself. Now we're gonna take that Rainbow, special summon him by bouncing back the Silva. And we can take, I believe we have a Grappa. Bam, we do. Grappa is gonna bounce back our copy of Beige. And here is the loop. Now that we have access to both of our big level 8 and Dark Worlds on the board, we can continually cycle into the graveyard and into our hand. Now we're gonna take 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Into, oh boy, we need to draw other dangers, so let's draw Yugioh.
All right, so you're just gonna draw 4 and put 3 back. We're gonna draw 1,
Oh, that's pretty good.
There's
okay.
3, 4. We're gonna definitely put back our copy of Grapha, put back a copy of Genta, and we already used our copy of Salamander, so we're gonna put these bad boys onto the bottom of the deck. And wow, even though we didn't draw dangers, we have basically replenished our hand with a ton of draw power here. So that's exactly what we're gonna do. We're gonna activate our copy of Dark World Dealings. Each player will draw 1, discard 1. Man, you literally can't make this up.
Grapha, I need you to get a hobby, bro.
That's gonna pitch our copy of Beige, which is going to special itself.
Oh, Grapha's the clingiest dude on the planet.
Now, once again, Resource Loop. We're gonna bounce back our Beige to grab back our copy of Rainbow, and then we can bounce back our copy of Rainbow to special our copy of Grapha. Now, we're gonna Dark World Dealings one more time. We're gonna draw 1, discard 1. I think the best bet here is probably discarding. We'll discard our copy of Rainbow. I think Rainbow has 1 more target in deck. Oh, look at that. Bam. Another Grapha.
The gang's all here. The whole crew of clinginess.
Now, the cool part about Saryuja, everyone knows the draw 4 effect. Saryuja has an additional effect where if you use 3+ monsters, once per turn, you can special summon a monster from your hand. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna activate the Saryuja. We're gonna special summon our copy of Beige, and now we're gonna Rainbow bounce back the Beige. Wow, we just got a free monster and kept our card in hand.
Got like 40 cards in hand, bro.
Now we're going to activate, there's not a lot of room here. I'm going to place this over here. We're going to activate our copy of Dark World Archive, and now we can activate the archive. We're going to discard our copy of Beige, which will increase all of our Dark World monsters by 400. Obviously, that's going to trigger the Beige to special summon, and it's going to trigger our copy of Archives. Because we discarded a card, we can discard 1 card and then draw 2. So we're going to pitch our copy of Beige and then draw 2 additional cards here. Wow, that's crazy. And now Beige is going to trigger because, you know, special summon, not once per turn, special itself.
Good news is you can't draw any more Graphas, so that's good.
That's fantastic. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take our copy of Grapha, our Saryuja, our Rainbow, and 1 of our copies of Beige.
Into another cuter link for Nightmare Griffin.
Fantastic.
Oh,
now,
baby.
On the Summon of Griffin, we're going to think if there's any spells on our graveyard that we want to add back. I don't really see any that matter here. If you had the fusion spell that you couldn't get back, this is a great opportunity to add it back, but you don't really need to. But you know what you do need to do? Resource Loop. So we're going to bounce this back, special summon. Oh, wow, that's crazy. Is that a guy there? And that's a Grapha in our graveyard. We're going to bounce back, special summon. Holy moly, there's literally not enough cards, or not enough room on the board for the cards in our hand.
What an uncommon Yu-Gi-Oh problem, having too many cards in hand.
Because we have so many extenders here, we are going to try to make the full board. So we're going to activate our copy of Nessie now. You're going to need both dice here, my friend.
Oh my god, I never thought this day would come. So it's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8? Okay, so 9 through 12 reroll, I guess.
7! 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7!
Yay, we did
Fantastic.
it! Apple, you can have your thing back.
Alright, so we're gonna pitch this. So we're going to special summon our copy of Nessie. Nessie's gonna draw a card. Beige is gonna summon. Wow, that's insane.
Woo!
Let's just make sure. Just resort. We've gone through a lot of cards. There's no like, okay, cool. We don't have any of the big dudes in our graveyard. We're gonna link for 2 here. This is gonna make our copy of Ipples. Bam, IP Masquerena.
Baby girl.
Wow, Resource Loop. We're gonna Beige, special summon the Grapha. Isn't that crazy how that works? Now we're gonna activate. Wow, we have a Nessie and a Chupacabra. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's go for Chup.
Here we go. Apple, I swear you'll get your counter back one day.
3!
Hey, Grapha, get the hell out of my hand.
Alright, there goes Grapha. We'll special summon our copy of Chup. Bam. And then Logan's gonna drop some dice.
There's just so much happening.
We're gonna draw some cards.
Oh, let him!
Grapha has nothing to pop. Now we're gonna activate, it literally doesn't, you know what? We're gonna activate nothing because we have enough cards in our hand. We're gonna link for 2.
Yeah, Muckraker. The Mucky Raker, this little baby girl.
Now we can activate our copy of Muckraker. It doesn't matter what you target here as long as it's a 4. I'm going to target the Beige. We're going to discard the Beige for effect, not for cost. Beige will summon. Beige will summon. We are going to overlay our good old baddies here.
Oh god. Into Baguska!
Isn't that crazy?
Tier players full combo after interruption, smile.
And then you have the ability to do 1 of 2 things here. Well, 3, I guess. You can technically just pass your turn. We're definitely going to set our copy of Ascension, or if you'd like, you can activate the Ascension and then make your fusion monster over here. But I don't think we really need to do that. We have the Grapha in our hand. We have the fusion spell, which will allow us to discard the Grapha or banish a Grapha in our graveyard to get into our fusion fiend monster on our opponent's turn. We have IP, we have Floodgate that says nothing can activate unless it's linked. We have a 4 material Appaloosa, and we have a Bagooska.
So they're not doing jack.
Yeah, like everyone's like, oh, you can just beat over the Appa. How are you beating over Appa with this?
Good luck.
And
You're
then
going into defense mode, baby.
Like Lava Golem, main deck, big like board clearers
like, what are you
that.
clearing?
What are you gonna clear? You have at least another interruption here. You have 1, 2, 3, 4 points of interaction, and all your fiend monsters are still buffed.
Yeah, and you have Underworld Goddess jump scare off of the IP, so that's crazy.
Keep in mind you don't get a draw phase next turn, but I don't really think we need it here.
I think you're good. This deck, you know, if it couldn't play through it with the Dugaris, I think that would be the opposite of why you play the deck, because this deck has 400 cards in it, I'm convinced.
And if you do see a threat, keep in mind when you activate this, you can't just discard the Grapha and then just pop a card because of the Grapha in the grave.
I mean, if they're playing through Griffin, Appo for 4, IP, Bagooska into that, they're just built different. Like, Griffin is in itself like a baby Mystic Mine, and if you all know how Mystic Mine was, this is pretty annoying because you can't do anything about it. This deck's actually really crazy, so if you sat through this combo, I hope you appreciate it. Let me know in the comments. And that's the deck. If you're still here and still awake, I am so proud of you for getting this far. I hope you enjoyed the deck profile. This is a deck we absolutely love and haven't gotten an update in a while because, well, it has been completely unplayable. So shout out to that, and Rogue decks getting their time to shine. And if you're succeeding with this deck, let us know in the comments, and make sure you let us know what decks you'd like us to update for this awesome format that we are in. With all that being said, team, thank you so much for watching this video. We love you. You matter. And we'll see you all in all these fun videos over here. Make sure you check out the new shorts. We'll see you in the next video. Bye!